So we have been talking about sequences, which is just like a series of numbers like 1, 4, 7, 10. Okay, just a series of numbers. There's a pattern between them. And today we're doing something called series, which is basically like a sequence where you add the terms together. So a series might be like 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 10, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so series still have terms, like the first term is 1, the second term is 4, but they also have sums. So if I say S sub 2, that means what's the sum of the first two terms? So that would be like 1 plus 4.
Some are 1 plus 4.
What? Okay, or if I said what's S sub 3, that would be the sum of the first three terms. So like 1 plus 4 plus 7, so that would be 12. Okay? So we're just adding stuff together today instead of just listing stuff. That's kind of the main difference. It is kind of challenging, sorry. Last three assignments you guys have probably killed it pretty good, but this one we might have to use our brains a little bit. Let's start with this. Let's say I know that this is
Cinco.
okay. Let's say I know I've got an arithmetic series here, or sequence, or whatever. How do I figure out what the pattern is? What does arithmetic sequence mean? What's arithmetic? Means you're adding the same value over and over again. So let's say I have a sub 2 is 5. Have we done this before? I can't remember.
No, probably not.
Okay, a sub 4 is 19, and I want to know what is a sub 11. Okay, actually, let me change this to a 1, and this one to a 17. Okay, so arithmetic sequence means they're adding the same value over and over. So how do I figure out what value they must be adding here?
It's a good 7.
That's a good question.
Shh. Okay, well, how far is it from 5 to 17? Let's start with that. 12. Does that mean they're adding 12 every time?
No.
No. Why would we divide by 3? Okay, because there's 3 steps from the first term to the fourth term. So whatever the difference is between there, if you divide it by 3, that will tell you what each step must have been. 4. So we call this the common difference. You guys remember that? The difference is 4. So each step is 4. So if the first term is 5, how do I figure out like the 11th term? I think we did do this part once. Yeah, we would do 5 plus 4, because each step is plus 4, 10 times. So it would look like that. Okay, which would be like 45. This is kind of part of the hard part for today. If you understood that, that's a good sign. We'll do some more like that. But the other thing, there's a couple other things we need to talk about. Trying to figure out what I want to start with. Let's start with this. Let's do a very basic series here. Plus 99 plus 100. If I wanted to add those 100 terms together, okay, we could plug it in the calculator and take us like 5 minutes. But there is a much easier way. Any geniuses in here think they can figure it out?
No.
It's okay, I probably wouldn't get it either. What? Oh.
You said something. What are we trying to do? And I was just kind of saying.
Well, I'm trying to figure out an easier way of adding all these numbers together without like doing 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, the easier way is what would happen if I added the first term and the 100th term together? It'd be 101. What would I get if I added the second to last term together? 101. The third and the third to last term is 101. If you add the first and last terms, you'd get 101. And how many of those pairs would there be?
98.
100.
How many pairs would there be?
40,
There'd be 50.
50.
Because there's 100 terms, so if you pair them up, only half of them, there would only be half as many of those. Does that make sense? So there's 50 pairs. If there's 100 terms, there's 50 pairs, right? So there's 50 of these. Okay, so anyway, that would give you the sum. Here's the formula we basically used. Okay, what's a sub 1 stand for? The first term, which is like a 1. What does a sub n stand for?
Very one.
The n is how far you're going. Like in this case, that would be the 100th term. So this stands for the last term. So this is what, it's like when we did 1 plus 100, this is what gave us the 101. Okay, and then the number of times we would need to add that together is the number of terms divided by 2.
So on the test, can we just memorize that formula?
Yeah. I might not even make you memorize it actually, but.
Yay.
So this formula, what it's used for is to find the sum of the terms in an arithmetic series. We're going to be using this quite a bit today. What does n stand for? The number of terms. A sub 1 is the first term. A sub n is the last term. So we're just going to plug some stuff into this. That's not all we're doing, but we will use that quite a bit. Okay. Something else. There's one more thing. Have you guys heard of sigma before?
Yes.
It's a Greek letter.
That's on photo map. Like that's the photo map.
What's the
Yeah. I know she used photomath. She already told me.
Why can't kids be loving you?
Yeah, so it's not just on photomath, it's just in math in general.
What's it called again?
Sigma. Well, if you have heard it, it might have been like a sorority or fraternity name. Like,
I've never heard of this word.
you never heard of Sigma? Oh, does it mean something else?
Yeah.
Are you Sigma, Mr. Jordan?
You know, today I came across a shocking revelation.
Okay,
And I came across.
is it something bad?
No.
No.
It's just.
Is it like the opposite of alpha?
No, it's the same thing at this point.
It's the same thing as
Yeah.
alpha?
Okay, wait. Okay, let me see what I
Sigma's better than alpha though.
It's not how I know this.
Sigma,
Okay.
Mr. Jordan.
You know Bumblebee? Caden looks like
It's-
Bumblebee.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
He
the
looks
Sigma.
like Bumblebee.
I've never
Caden
seen
looks like
Bumblebee.
What?
Oh, I see it.
They're not even talking about the
Sorry,
same
you
bubble.
did.
She was
alright,
Clayton agreed with that. Clayton
Good
agreed.
bar. Good bar.
alright, here we go. Listen up, listen. So, sigma notation, this is used to define series, like numbers, a set of numbers that are added together. So what this n equals 1 and 5 thing means is we're going to plug in 1 to 5. So we're going to plug in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into whatever is over here. So if I plug in 1, 2 times 1 is 2. If I plug in 2, 2 times 2 is 4. If I plug in 3, 2 times 3 is 6. Plug in 4, 8. Plug in 5, this is the last one. You get 10. And you just have to add them all together, just like a series. So sigma notation, you're supposed to add this together by plugging in all the numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, so it is a series, basically. And you don't need a formula. I mean, we could use this formula to solve this, but I mean, if it's short like this, you might as well just add it together. Like, what's that? Like, what is that? That'd be 10, 20, 30. Okay, got that? Sigma notation. Now we're ready to go. We're ready. Number 1. Okay, it says find S sub 7 for each arithmetic sequence. 2, 5, 8. All right. S sub 7 means we're supposed to find the sum of the first 7 terms. So we need to find the first 7 terms. What is the pattern here? Plus 3. So the fourth term would be 8 plus 3, 11 plus 3, 14 plus 3. Okay, that's 7, right? So we don't really need the commas. We just need to add all these together. And that would be number 1.
That would be pretty huge.
Okay, probably would not use the formula for this one, although the formula would work. Let's see.
We gotta write all that.
Oh yeah, do we have to write that?
No, we don't.
That is a lot.
How about on the evens? Yes.
Goodness gracious. Goodness.
You will need it on the evens. Let's see, what is that? Does anybody put that in?
77. These are gonna be really small.
No, the opposite of alpha is like beta.
It's not the opposite.
I know, you guys told me it's like super alpha.
It's like the better one, probably. They just like to like it.
Like biggest problem.
What was the origin of that? You guys don't know? No, okay. All right.
Would you ever go bald?
I already asked him
And I probably said something by I'm working on it. Working on it.
this. What?
Mr. Jordan, you have a bunch of hair. You'll never go
I
bald.
like his
Yeah.
hair spin, but he's starting to go bald.
Well,
He already had a bald
my grandpa's like 94 and he's
No, it's
pretty
really
close.
great.
He's got very few hairs.
Wait, what about his like
That's like interesting as
grandpa?
is like not there.
I don't know.
When else it'd be his
I never met his grandpa.
force.
Have you met Isa's
Will
dad?
you go bald at
No.
the age of 44?
Which is crazy.
Okay,
He's been my teacher
so
forever.
on number 3, it does not make a list for us. What does this d equals -5 mean?
That's not the very nice.
Okay, that's the common, that's the common difference. That's how much it's being added. Yeah, -5. So it's actually kind of more like a subtraction. So the first term is 12. So the next one would be -5, 7. -5, 2. -5 is -3. So you could put plus -3, but really it's just a -3. -3 minus 5 is -8. -5 is -3. Is that 7 yet? 3, that's 6. -5 is -18. Let's see, what does that come out to? I'll just make you guys do it.
Oh, whoa.
Bro.
So did someone get the
I'm
answer?
so sorry, folks. Beyond apologetic.
Negative 29?
21.
21. Thanks.
Wait, right?
Yeah, yes. A sub 1 equals 12, A sub 7 equals 18.
I wasn't paying attention. What was it?
Negative 21.
Negative 21, Shannon.
Dude, you need to bang your boy.
Okay, so we could cheat on the, well, not cheat. We could use the formula on this one pretty easily because they're giving us the first and the last term because we're supposed to add the first 7 terms together. So they're giving us the first and last term, which would help a lot with this formula where you need to know the first and the last term. I don't know. Maybe, I don't think I'm going to use it yet though. So let's figure out what the terms are. So the first term is 12, the last term is 18. So what's the gap between 12 and 18? 6. Does that mean they're adding 6 every term? No. Because how many terms are between the first and the 7th? 6. So this plus 6, if you divide it by 6, is just a plus 1. So the pattern is plus 1 actually. So if the first term is 12, the next term would be 13, 14, all the way to 18. And those would be the 7 terms that you have to add together. It'd be 30 times 3.5, 90, 105?
Yep.
How did you know?
I used the magic formula that we talked about earlier in the head.
Did you like a cheetah?
Or I looked at the book, one or two.
I mean, like you're like a cheetah. Like fast. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Number 7, kind of similar. It's S sub 10, though, so we have to add the first 10 terms together. Let's see, it's 7 to negative 3. Okay, actually, what is the pattern on this one? -5. I think I am going to cheat on this one and use the form. I'm going to start using the formula now because these are kind of a lot to plug in. All right, if the first term is 7 and I want to go to the 10th term, how would I do that? I could just start minusing 5, but what's the fast way to do it? You could do 7, take away 5. How many times? How many terms are there between 1 and 10? 9. So we could just do 7 minus 5 times 9.
On number 6, do we use the formula or do you
Yeah,
use the
I'm not gonna say you have to do it one way or the other. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use the formula on this one. So I'll write it over here again. So 7 minus 45 is negative 38. Okay, so instead of actually adding all these, I didn't even figure out what these are, but instead of actually adding them, I'm going to use this formula. What does n stand for? N stands for the number of terms that we're adding. So in this case, that would be 10. So it's 10 over 2. What does a sub 1 stand for? It stands for the first term, which is 7. And what does a sub n stand for? N is the number of terms that you're adding, so that would be the 10th term. So that would be the last term, basically, negative 38. And that will give you the answer. It's negative 31 times 5 is negative 155. Check my work. Okay.
Do we have to show work on
This would be the work.
no, do we have to show work on
Yes.
Bella, you might
Show your work.
maybe
It's 12. Oh, yeah. Okay, 8's pretty easy. That's fine. Yeah, how could we do 8? What could you do for 8? Hmm?
How do you get 760?
No, what's the easy way to do number 8? Yeah, it's 12 times 10. It's 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 10 times. So it's 12 times 10. That's what multiplication does. It adds, like adding the number over and over again. Okay, number 9. All right, they give me the first term. They give me the common difference. It's going to go down by 3 every time. So what I need to figure out to use this formula is what is the 10th term. So how am I going to find the 10th term? Okay, if I'm starting with negative 23, and then it's going to go down 3, how many times?
No.
9. From 1 to 10, that's 9 times to get to the 10th term. So it's negative 23 minus 3 times 9. should come out as negative 50. Okay, so for my formula, it'll be 10 divided by 2, negative 23 plus negative 50. So the number of terms is 10. The first term is negative 23, and the last term is negative 50.
This is meta for x, not
Negative 365.
the meta part as well, and that's just the x.
What?
See, you did Mesothor, I didn't think that you did Mesothor.
Oh, but yeah. What? Why are you getting this right now?
Because I'm like, looked over your finger, I'm like, oh no, she got it.
Wait, so you did exactly what you did in, or wait, I did what you did in syntax.
Yeah, except that you also have Mesothor x too, so where you
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was really confused why I haven't. Like,
Number 11.
Okay, so she said this.
Okay, 11 is actually one of the, and 12 are the easier ones because they give you the numbers that you need for the formula. They give you the first number and the first term and the last term. So we can just plug that into the formula. So it's the number of terms divided by 2 times the first term plus the last term. So 11 and 12 are actually the easiest. 39 times 5 is, let's see, 40 times 5 would be 200, so it's 395.
But you can see this later.
yes, please.
This is Mesothor x. This is Mesothor x.
Okay.
Lisa, please, no.
Yeah.
Oh, 190, oh yeah, yeah,
Easy
yeah.
to mess
That's
up
right,
'cause that
sorry.
happened to me.
Forgot what I was doing. 13, sum of k equals 1 to 5, k plus 3. All right, what does this mean? This is not that hard, guys. This part isn't. Do you guys remember what I said this meant? It's called sigma. You're gonna plug in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for k. All those terms are gonna be added together. If I plug in 1, what do I get? 4. If I plug in 2, what do I get? 5. If I plug in 3, 6. If I plug in 4, if I plug in 5. 5 is the last thing we're gonna plug in. You get 8. You just add all those together. Easy peasy. 12 plus 12 plus 6 is 30. Let's show some work on the evens.
So wait,
You can write down 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. It's not going to
I
kill you.
think Donald Trump loves us.
ew.
I think it's
I don't think he gives a rip. No.
No. Donald Trump is sick.
I know you do certain things sometimes you're like, oh my
Donald Trump cannot say this.
That's expired.
And you definitely like sit there and comment.
I'm telling you, I have that experience.
Stop. Just my finger.
And I thought there was another like
That
picture
was
just
probably
there.
up in your hair. Stop.
Okay, so on number 15, what are we going to do?
Wicked.
Plug in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I plug in 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. If I plug in 2, 2 squared is 4 times 2 is... If I plug in 3 squared is 9 times 2. If I plug in 4 squared is 16 times 2. Plug in 5 squared is 25 times 2. 6 squared times 2, 36 times 2, 72. And the last one, 7. 7 squared is 49 times 2. 98. By the way, this is not an arithmetic sequence, so you cannot use that formula. Because this is like plus 6, plus 10, plus 14. That is not arithmetic sequence. The formula will not work for this one. It's 280. That sounds... That's what they said. And they're right. Oh. Well, I heard like 2 or 3 people say it. So.
It was her.
Who else?
Shelby.
Oh.
No, that was me thinking. Now, earlier when you mentioned it, that was
Okay, so we're supposed to find the sum of the first 10 terms. They give us the third and the 12th term. So to use that formula, we're going to need the first term, which we have, and we're going to need the 10th term. So how could I find what the 10th term is? These are still arithmetic sequences. How can I find the 10th term? Okay, I need to find the common difference. So how far is it from 3 to 12? It's plus 9. Does that mean every... Yeah, you can go back. Does that mean every step is plus 9? No. From the first term to the fourth term, that's 3 steps. So if I do the plus 9 divided by 3, I get a plus 3. So the common difference is plus 3. If the first term is 3, how do I get to the 10th term? I'm going to add 3, how many times? 9. Because the difference between the first and the 10th term is 9 steps, 9 away. So I'm going to start with this 3, and I'm going to add 3 9 times.
Okay.
And that gives me the last term, which is 30. And now I have all the info I need to use that formula. I'll rewrite it again. I probably should have just written it on the whiteboard, but it's the number of terms divided by 2. Whoops. First term plus the last term. Okay, what is the number of terms? We're adding 10. So it's 10 divided by 2. What's the first term? They told us it was 3. What's the last term? We just figured it out. It's 30. And that is the magic right there. 33 times 5 is 165. Kind of hard, and kind of challenging. But we're almost done.
We can go home and do it.
Are you watching the play
You
tonight?
can do it here. We got time.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Are you watching the play tonight?
Maybe.
We should like go there. and,
Who's
like,
everyone? You?
Yeah, me and her. The only people that matter, actually. Oh, and her. The only people that matter.
Well,
Shelby's going, and Shannon.
She has to go.
I might go.
You should go. Loser. Yeah, I'm
Skylar's supposed to be there. You won't see her, but she'll be there.
I like to go on Thursdays. Well, I like going to the full events, but I don't
Yeah, like what? Like what? Like what?
all right. So this one is a little different. We're supposed to have the first 15 terms, and they give us the 15th term. So, this is the last term. So we need to go backwards and find the first term. So what's d equals 2 tell us?
What's up, like?
The pattern is plus 2. So if I need to go backwards from the 15th term to, we need to subtract 2 how many times?
14.
14 times.
What are you doing, 18?
I said 15, and then I said
Okay, that's cyberbullying.
Hashtag red devil.
Why is it when I say something?
Hashtag.
I haven't said anything. I have not said
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Hashtag.
Okay. Gosh.
You're
Hashtag.
wasting
I was
the
active.
oxygen in the ocean.
Okay, we need to subtract 2 14 times. Hope is an angel. She would never.
Oh,
This whole entire day I haven't said anything to you.
Did you make it through yesterday?
Yesterday does not count. The day before that, I actually did something. Yeah. And I stopped. And then they're like, you're going back to your old self. And I was like, okay, Ian.
Don't go back to 7th grade. That was actually terrible.
Stop.
I was actually so scared of you.
Speaking of hate,
I would go
I was on
home and
something.
like tell my mom like you were like
I tell my mom about this.
I'm like, Mom, today guess what Hope said to me? Stop! And guess what she did to me today?
Stop, guys. I was on something.
I would always be like,
Seventh
remember she
grade-
hit me today?
7th grade me was different.
Was
And
it?
8th grade.
It's the same exact
Hey,
thing.
I got better in 8th grade.
Okay,
Be for real.
so I got that the first term is negative 18. So I got the last term and the first term, so I'm ready to go. So the number of terms is 15. So I'm going to do 15 over 2 times, or negative 18 plus 10. That and that. That would be 7.5 times negative 8.
Where did you go to get your haircut?
So you could be like
Yeah, I
five.
was gonna say, you go to Great Lips.
Super 6.
What is that?
I think that might not be what it's called, but possibly.
Where's
No,
that?
it's.
There's Super 6.
I'm pretty sure it's
That's
called
a-
6.
yeah. There's Super 6. is
The
like a
hotel?
haircut place. I used to go there.
It's it's on Adams.
Well, there's 6 on Lionel Rock,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I
nothing.
really don't know street names.
It's like if you're going to the library, it's on that road.
Yeah.
The library. Oh.
It's like on the right side of the road, coming from the school, next to Lowe's.
Bro, it's downtown.
Okay.
Bro, I don't know.
It's not
If you're trying to get to Pahuska from here, you would go on Adams.
What?
Nobody goes to Boston.
Okay, never mind. I give up. Woolarock, how about that?
Where is the?
That's in Arkansas.
We got lost there.
Bro, I don't know.
No, Woolarock is here.
Wait, Little Rock is not. Wait, oh, I'm thinking of Little Rock. I'm stupid. It's supposed to say Arkansas.
Okay. I give
I was
up.
thinking of Little Rock. It's not